I'm fulfilling every single role in the company whilst being on the tools non-stop. And that's when we were like, we need help.
A lot of people are going to relate to this, and particularly in the trade services, right? Because where were you and the business at that encouraged you to start thinking, hey, we need some help here?
Honestly, life was just becoming too difficult.
Okay.
What do you want to do? Trent said, maybe let's just ring Ben and he can give us some advice.
Awesome to realize you need help. A lot of people don't. Now go and find it. It doesn't matter who it is or how you go about this, because
time to get fired up. Yeah, I'm getting fired up.
your thoughts can become plans, plans can become actions, and actions become a reality. We share powerful stories and simple steps to fast track your business and personal growth. Are you ready to make it happen? Let's get fired up. Welcome back to the Fired Up podcast. I am joined today by one of my clients actually on our coaching program, but we've got the lovely Rose with us here today from We Paint Gold Coast. Welcome to the show, Rose.
Very welcome. Thanks for having me, Ben.
Sounding a bit croaky there. You
I
okay?
am. I'm a little bit croaky. I'm a bit husky, but I'm good to go. I've got my water here, so surviving.
Let's get into it. Let's start off. Just tell us a bit about your business. Like, what do you guys do, so we can get a kind of understanding of the services that you offer?
Yeah, sure. So we're a painting and decorating company that operate on the Gold Coast. Residential, commercial, interior, exterior repaints. Pretty much anything that you can paint, we paint it. We have a team of varied 5 to 8 guys. And yeah, that's what we do. So
Now you've added some additional services. It's not just painting, but
we do a lot of epoxy flooring, concrete flooring, special finishes, pressure washing services as well for like preparation for painting, or just because you want stuff pressure washed to look better.
Cool. And I love these guys, their slogan, we paint because you don't. It is very true. I think a lot of their work is actually fixing up people's mistakes and blunders.
Absolutely.
Or poor tradesman work. But these guys have got a strong reputation of quality and service. So make sure that you do follow them socials or go check them out. Very easy to interact with them and get quotes for the jobs that you might want to do. The reason that I asked Rose to come up here today is because I want to kind of just go back to March, April this year, before we were working together. Where were you and Trent, who's her husband, the other owner of the business, like where were you and Trent and the business at that encouraged you to start thinking, hey, we need some help here. We need to explore what we can do to improve this business or get this business running better? What was happening at that point?
Honestly, life was just becoming too difficult.
Okay.
So we have twins as well. They're 2 years old. So life is very, very crazy, as you can imagine. And Trent was just coming home after waking up super early. He's up, he's out the door 5 a.m. in the morning. He's going to work. He's on the tools all day. He's driving to job sites. He's quoting jobs. He's coming back. He's exhausted. He's trying to be a good dad. He's trying to be a good partner. He's trying to run a house. Then he's sitting down. He's trying to type out quotes, type out invoices, drum up new work. And one day he just came in. I just cooked dinner and he's quiet. He's a very bubbly person. He's always happy. He's always positive. And I just could tell something was wrong. And I just said, look, what's going on? Like, tell me what's going on. And he was quite emotional. He just said, like, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to burn out.
Right.
Everything is just too much for me. Like I'm fulfilling every single role in the company whilst being on the tools nonstop. So I sat down with him and we stayed up till about 10 p.m. that night, which is really late for us because we go to bed at 8 p.m. And I said, well, like, what do you want to do? Like, we've got 2 options really. One, let's cut back. At the moment you've got 6 workers, go down to you and another guy. You can still make a really good living off that and we'll just plod along, you and another guy, and life will be simple. And I know Trent's nature. I know that wasn't really an option, but that was just the first option I was putting out there. And he was like, no, I'm never going to go backwards.
Yeah, sure.
So the next option is, let's give it a go. Let's try and get the company to a point that is in a position where we can physically step off the tools, work on the business, not for the business. And that's when we were like, right, we need help because there's just aspects we don't know where to start. you were the first person that came to our mind on a personal level as well, like knowing you from friends, knowing how successful you are in your own personal life. And Trent said, oh, like, maybe let's just ring Ben and he can give us some advice. It's bizarre that you were obviously starting this whole coaching program. Like
Timing.
Like how does that happen?
Yeah.
And so it was like absolute no-brainer. Let's do it.
So obviously, and look, I think a lot of people are going to be able to relate to this. With who are in a business where you are just working in the business.
Yeah.
And if things are starting to go well and improve, sounds great, but it's more stress, more job, more work, more administration. Then there's marketing, then there's finances, and all these things just start to escalate. What if we go back to that March or that conversation, what was your role in the business at that time?
So at that time, I was doing the payroll for the boys, and I was doing a few things with dealing with the accountant, sending off emails. But like, I'm a very structured, organized person. I'm type A personality. I'm the person that if an email comes into my inbox, it's filed before it's even there. So I would look at Trent's business structure and just be like, whoa, I just don't even know how I can help you. Everything was in his head. I'd be like, well, how do you know what jobs you've got on? It's all in here. I'd look at his emails, 500,000 emails, no structure to it. I mean, he was doing great. He was providing for a family and I wasn't working. So can't knock his ability to provide. That was amazing. But his way of running the company was just, it's overwhelming for him, I guess. So my role at that point was not much.
Embrace liberation with the Freedom People's Pillars. Empower your life through the Freedom People's 5 Pillars of Freedom. Their framework promotes personal and collective liberty, forging a path to autonomy, knowledge, privacy, self-reliance, and community. Transform with them to rise above constraints and reclaim your rights. Rise free, stand united, evolve with purpose, begin transforming today. Visit thefreedompeople.org, the proud sponsor of today's episode.
I know the role you play in it now is extremely significant, but I think a lot of people are going to relate to this, and particularly in the trade services, right? Because everything's scribbled down on paper. They're on their phone 24/7 because how they deal with everything is phone calls and text messages, anything that relates to systemization, process, technology, almost scares the shit out of them.
Absolutely.
And they're like, I don't want to fucking do that. I haven't got time to go and work through
it. They don't have the knowledge how to do it.
No.
Firstly, Trent didn't even, it's a miracle what he can do on the computer these days, because honestly, he didn't even know how to operate Facebook really. These are, especially Trent, he's a country boy, country trading with the physical ability to make a fire and paint your house and do anything you need like that. Don't worry, picture's falling down, he'll put it back up. But in terms of the logistical side, absolutely clueless, which I think a lot of traders can relate to.
Yeah. What about from the personal point of view? Because obviously if Trent's getting into this headspace and the time and the stress, and obviously that's coming back home as well, what kind of impact was this having on your time together or your physical health and key family moments? Was it?
Yeah, well, I'm going to be honest in the fact that Trent doesn't let much invade into how he is as a father and a partner. So he was always that amazing partner and happy energy. And so it didn't really invade in that sense. But what I do notice is the unhealthy habits of, he's so super stressed. He's got to then go and punch 8 beers, He's not drunk, but he needs that. It's his wind down. It's his way of, and then of course that is an unhealthy lifestyle in general when you're forming these habits because you are overstressed. You don't have time to look after yourself. So yeah.
And these things go part and parcel, right? So when you've got control or better control of your time, then you can now start to allocate time to some of the things that don't generate money, like time with you, time with the kids, time on health and exercise, time on what can we do to actually focus and grow on the business.
That's right.
So I think for people watching this can probably relate to what Rose is saying, but what Rose and Trent have done well, which I truly admire, which is one of the hardest things, is we need help. We are not going to be able to do this by ourselves. I recall, having that conversation with you guys going, hey, awesome to realize you need help. A lot of people don't. Yeah. Now go and find it. It doesn't matter who it is or how you go about this, but you are going to need the support if you want to get there faster and smarter, because there's a whole bunch of areas for both of you that you don't have the skills and knowledge.
Absolutely.
So what's the plan of attack there? You're going to go and learn it. You're going to go do courses. We can do this better and faster, and actually bring some specialists into it as well. I want to dig into it as we get into the future episodes, but once you realized you needed help, I remember you kind of spoke to a whole bunch of people. Can you just talk us through who you spoke to and what they were offering?
Absolutely. So the first thing I did was think, okay, well, actually, I forgot about this, but I actually signed up for a free mentoring for growth session through the government because I heard that they do them. So we had a Skype session with, I think, 4 retired industry professionals that were top of their field, very knowledgeable people. And we sat down and they kind of dissected our business for us and said, you have a great business, but your website's all the things we kind of knew. And interestingly enough, me and Trent had always said, we don't even need a website. We're getting enough work. Why do we need that? We don't need to post on social media. We don't need to do these things. And then these mentors basically sat down and said, actually, this is what you need to do. And then they gave us their packages as well. So we had those as an option. And then we thought, do we need to go with a full mentor or a coach, or do we just try and do these things ourselves? So we thought, okay, well, let's try and do these things ourselves. So I took the marketing part of it and I called a SEO specialist. And I said, look, first things first, we need a new website and we need someone to give us some more SEO targeted content for our website. And he was like, yeah, no worries, I can do that, 12 grand. We were like, okay, that's a lot of money. But then we sat back and you came into our mind. And that's when we were like, maybe we do go with a coach who can help us as a whole package, like everything we need doing, give us the contacts, give us the know-how. And that's when we got in touch with you. Yeah.
Right. So I think in terms of wrapping this up, let's talk about where you might be in the current state with your business. First of all, recognize the triggers that something is not going the way you want it. With your partner, with your business partner, with your lifestyle, with the business performance, look for those triggers that, hey, something's not right. Number 2, realize that if you do need help, that you need to go and look for it. And you can do that by finding people who you can relate to, who can offer the services that you want, who can bring that expertise in, and start having those conversations. Because even though you spoke to that government and the SEO person and prices are crazy and the offering's not a good match, at least you're starting to narrow down that list now and get more education on what might work. Stick around for future episodes because we're going to talk to Rose around what the early stage process was as they started to interact with us in our coaching program. And I think more importantly, now that we're about 3.5 months in, where are we at and how's it going? So stick around for that. We'll catch you later. If you've enjoyed this episode, then subscribe on YouTube or follow our podcast on your favorite platform. We drop a new episode every week. You'll be doing us a massive favor. If you know someone that would benefit from listening to this, then share it with them. You'll be doing them a massive favor. And if you want the tips, tools, and resources to support you on this journey, then join our exclusive Facebook community and follow our socials. You'll be doing yourself a massive favor.